Hello, another episode of Natives Podcast. I'm Harry MacArthur. I'm here with Bob Thornton, and we have another wonderful guest with us today, a special guest, Carrie, and she's with Alpha Dog Training, and she's trained one of my dogs, and she's just an amazing person with dogs, and I would love to have her tell us her story and what it takes to train animals and how she got into the business and everything with it. And so now, usually Bob takes over from here because he's a lot better at this stuff than me. I'm a burger flipper. He's the smart guy.
Yeah, not really. I mean, the bar's set. Everyone looks fast when they're running past a tree. That's the bottom line. So, Carrie, why don't you start off just telling us a little bit about your childhood, your family, your school, and we'll dig deeper as we go along.
All right. I grew up in Brooklyn and then moved to Staten Island. I have two brothers. My parents were great parents. We were raised just, you go to school, you get a career. Back in the day, that's the way it was. You go to school, you get a career. And I always bucked that system. I was not that person. I had to find, and still do, my own way in life. Through the course of, growing up, I ended up getting married back in 1992. And I just always, let me just backtrack really quickly. I was the child that would find a stray dog and knock on my mom's door and go, "Look, I found our dog." And my mom would go, "No, that's not our dog. No, that's not our dog." So dogs and I have had history for a very long time.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So while I was married, within the first year, I went to a shelter and I found this adorable dog named Buddy. And this turns, I was working for American Express at the time in human resources, the whole corporate America thing, because that's what I was supposed to do, according to my parents. Anyway, but I brought home this wonderful dog named Buddy. Little did I know how to housebreak a dog, how to make a dog listen to you, how to make the dog literally not pull the blinds off of the window, which he did. I mean, he was a disaster. He broke out of the crate almost every single day. And this was hard. So I brought him to a dog training class. Little did I know in my 20s, the dog training classes don't really work, but I thought they did because we practiced all the time, and he came in number one in his little class. A week after him, I had my little certificate on the refrigerator. We couldn't have been any prouder. About a week later, he ran into the middle of the street and he was hit and killed by a car. And that's where I started readjusting my priorities, and I was utterly inconsolable for a really long time, continuing with American Express, and I started doing so much reading and sought out dog trainers to say, why did this happen? How did this happen? I need to make sure this doesn't happen to another dog. Idealistically, I started pursuing this with everything I had, and it's over 30 years now of training dogs. So I do a lot of different types of training. I feel very fortunate and blessed to do a lot of the things I do. Speaking of which, there's a local organization called Chasing and Dream Foundation, run by Lori Griffith, and she's actually hired me over the last few years to train up service dogs for children. I trained up a seizure alert dog for a then 4-year-old child, where the dog not only alerts that there is a seizure, goes and tells the parents that there's a seizure about to happen, and then it will also help by instinct resuscitate the dog's breathing.
Wow.
Yeah, very, very cool stuff. So anyway. Tell me whatever, ask me questions.
All right. So you came out of Brooklyn to Staten Island?
Yes.
And what made you decide to leave New York?
The weather.
The weather?
The weather. I was literally coming to Florida and South Florida 6 times a year. Every time, I wouldn't even leave Florida without an airplane ticket for my next trip back.
Good for you.
Yeah. The only thing that kept me there, 10 years ago, quite frankly, was my business. Business was good. People knew me. I was well respected. And I didn't see how, at 50 years old, I was going to make this major life transition coming here without anybody knowing who I was. I mean, it just a pipe dream, and I did it. I'm very happy I did.
That's really cool. You know,
Yeah.
there's something that I always say I read 150 years ago in my short life, but those that are not busy being born are busy dying.
That's right.
And we can get into a comfortable rut, and a rut is just a grave with the ends kicked out.
Really?
So
Oh my gosh,
when you
no.
make a major change like that, you have no choice. It's grow or go.
Yeah.
So you came down here 8 years ago with no safety net,
Correct.
no business.
Correct.
You walked away from a successful business,
Correct.
and you said, I'm going to start again.
That's correct.
So maybe you could share with us coming down here how you started to build your business.
What I did initially in 2016, 2015, when I started flying back and forth I was living in New Jersey at that point, and I started flying back and forth every 3 weeks because I was house hunting to come here. Like at that point, I had set my mind and knew exactly what I was going to do. I just didn't know how I was going to do it. So every 3 weeks, I was flying back into PBI. And I made myself a little social media page and just, tried to start getting my name out here a little teeny tiny bit, because it's not easy to just up and go elsewhere. And I started picking up a couple of clients, but I didn't tell people that I was still living in New Jersey. I was setting up the appointments as though I was planted here. And that's the way I started. But it was scary. There was nothing. I'm single, I'm self-employed, and I decided I'm leaving New Jersey and I'm coming to South Florida, and that's what I'm going to do.
Were you self-employed up there, or you've already left the corporation?
No,
You
my
left-
corporation, I've been Alpha Dog Training since my late 20s.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah, I actually left
yeah.
corporate America in my 20s
Yeah,
to
that's
pursue this.
You
Yeah.
know, there's not a lot of people that would leave American Express to start their own business, so I give you great kudos.
It was idealistically. It started off as a hobby in my 20s, and then I just got to a point where I said, I don't want to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning for somebody else anymore. And so I, did it.
No, it's you're either busy living your dream or you're working for somebody else's dream.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
good for you. So how would people find you? How will they find you? Like, do you have a website?
Yes, I do.
And what's your website?
alphadogtrainingfl.com. And I'm also very actively on regular social media, Facebook. Alpha Dog Training is my Facebook page. And on Instagram, it's Alpha Dog _Carrie. Alpha Dog _Carrie. I'm sorry.
That's
Alpha
okay.
Dog
Don't be
Carrie.
sorry. Don't be sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, if you follow me on O'Donnell Storm Protection,
Yes.
you'll get a daily inspirational quote.
Really? I love that.
I've been doing it for 35 years. I started when my
my
son
God,
was
that
in
is
high school and
fantastic.
he was struggling. A lot of times I write him and I put author unknown because it has more weight. If I say Bob Thornton, they're like, whatever.
Right. That's
And
yeah.
I take pictures during the day and I put it with picture. Actually, Seth gets my quote.
I love that.
I
I
only
am
do them on
totally gonna
workdays. So
follow.
O'Donnell Storm Protection and on Instagram, and you'll be able to follow. And I'll follow you back
Thank
so I
you
can
so
keep
much.
track of you. And how is business now that you've been here 8 years? How has the business treated you? You got
Excellent. Yeah. But I say, by the grace of God, almost everything that comes in right now is referral. It's referral, and it's been that way for several years. When I came out here, of course, it was very, very scary. And I also came out here on the heels of my mom being diagnosed with stage 4 stage 4 colon cancer, and she lived down south, further down south in Boca. And so going back and forth there to take care of her from 2018, 2019, while I was trying to build this business where nobody knew who I was, again, scary. Then she passed away February 7th, 2020. 2020. I'm sorry. Wait, when did we have the pandemic?
2020.
All right, good.
You're spot on.
All right.
Started March
so
of 2020.
she passes away while business just started to catch on just a little bit. So I had all of that grieving going on, everything else happening. 3 weeks later, what do they announce? Everything shut down. The whole shutdown of the universe. I went, oh. But I'm still here and I'm good, you know?
That's awesome.
Very fortunate.
Well, you know, the universe brings us what we look for. And obviously,
Yeah.
you look to help people, you look to help
Yeah.
their pups, and it's working for you.
Yeah. I do a lot of specialized training as well. Over the last 30 years, I've also worked very closely with rehabilitating some aggressive dogs with different levels of aggression. I specialize in off-leash training, so I can take a dog that has zero training and make that dog the dog that you can see at Hobe Sound Beach listening to their owner. Yeah,
Wow.
I incorporate a lot of canine police style training and commands. There are many different levels of training, and for me as a pet dog, working with pet dogs, I want to ensure that this dog's 150% reliable for their owner. It's not just about teaching a dog. For me, it's not about teaching your dog to sit, teach your dog to stay, teach your dog to lay down, teach your dog to roll over. To me, I call that sit, stay, cookie training. Because that's what it is. It's
Sit, stay, cookie training?
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure Amy, my wife, has me on sit, stay, cookie
Yeah.
training.
She
Yeah,
may.
it works on
She may.
husbands,
She may.
yeah.
I'm not
Yeah, it
sure. I
works.
haven't met Amy, but when I do, I will ask her. You know, because there's a difference. You know, one of the things that I have found over the years is that one of the reasons people can't get their dogs to listen to them is because the dog doesn't pay attention to you unless you have a bowl of food, a new toy, a biscuit, a toy. But if we want to build a true bond and form a partnership and companionship with our dog, we've got to look at one another. You know, one of the things I stand by and I tell my clients to go, in any relationship, be it friendship or marriage, if there isn't any communication, there isn't any focus. If there isn't any focus, there isn't any communication. And what do dogs do when you see them on a leash a lot of times? You see them, their noses to the ground, they're left, right, they're all over the place. And the owner just becomes this human anchor on the leash. You know, so if you're a human anchor on the leash and the dog's just like, no, we're going this way, no, we're going that way, then there isn't a relationship. You know, I'm sure when you and your wife go on vacation, she's not just dragging you back and forth. Maybe occasionally if she sees a good shop or something, but you know.
Your dog training may come in handy in my life because I am like that dog.
I do not. Okay. I was going to say I do not work with humans.
Oh no, I am left, right. See the squirrel, something shiny. There's a bird, and so the cookie training may actually be applied to me.
Yeah.
And Amy's very good
I
at
don't
getting
do
me to
cookie training.
focus.
No
but
cookie training. No cookie training.
No.
Okay, let me here. Just a quick backtrack for everybody. The reason I call it sit, stay, cookie training is because when I was training up my dog, who was subsequently, hit and killed by a car. By the way, he was only 10 months old.
Oh, Buster.
Yeah. So. Is because everything was done with cookies. We were holding treats over the dog's nose. We were using treats to make the dog lay down for us. We held treats right here and we said, come. He came. We went, oh, okay, this is how you get your dog to come. No, it's not. Because if the cookie is not as interesting as the squirrel, the Amazon Prime guy, the neighbor who they love across the street, or another dog, the dog is going to get back to you and your cookie later on.
Gotcha.
They're going for the new thing.
Yeah.
But if I'm the most important thing, then my dog is going to defer to me and check in with me first before dragging me or taking off in another direction.
Now, you said that you also work with aggressive dogs
A lot,
to help
yeah.
bring them down. And I know from having a granddaughter that we go to the pound and we go to the whatever ASPCA.
Sure.
And she, wants to see and adopt everything. But there's a lot of pit bulls in there.
They're great dogs.
And that's what I'd like you to kind
Great
of...
dogs.
But a lot of times they're bought by people that aren't great people.
That is correct.
And they're not
That is
treated
correct.
properly.
That is correct.
So how, let's say that you go to the rescue and they have a great dog who's been abused and he's aggressive or she's aggressive. How would you work with that dog?
First, a lot of the dogs that have been abused or neglected are not aggressive dogs, but they can be, of course. A lot of them are just shut down and afraid because every interaction that they've had with a human has been negative. But if I work with a dog with aggression, it depends. It depends. I can rehabilitate the majority of aggressive dogs. I can work with each of those, But I can tell, here's a cool thing to know. A lot of doodles are aggressive.
Really?
A lot of golden retrievers are aggressive.
No.
I've worked with vicious doodles. Vicious.
No.
Yes. The majority of people also, coincidentally, who own doodles, not everyone, of course, are first-time dog owners. They're adorable. They're fluffy. They look like little lambs. They are sweet. They're highly intelligent. But they have the same instincts as a pit bull,
Wow.
as a Rottweiler. They're all domesticated wolves, every single dog out there. No matter how small or how big the dog is, they're all domesticated wolves. They all believe in a system of pecking order and hierarchy. And when you know, and there are different types of aggression as well that I'd be happy to tell you about. But when you bring home a dog and you treat it like, you know, the sun and the mood rises with the dog solely, and the dogs are severely overindulged and spoiled, many of them do become aggressive. And it's not breed specific.
Really?
Yeah. And coincidentally, speaking of pit bulls, it's not newsworthy to say, oh, well, the golden doodle attacked the next door neighbors. I mean, you would see that news and you'd probably hang up the phone, right?
That's a
great
hang
up the phone.
because that's
Turn on the TV.
All
It's
we
funny.
hear about
It's
is
funny. Everything a doodle, doodle, doodle. Yeah. So, no, but pit bulls, this is a dog with an extraordinarily strong jaw. And this dog can do a lot of damage. So it's very, I mean, I think it was in the 70s, it was the German Shepherd was the dangerous dogs. Maybe, no, the 70s was the Doberman.
Doberman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, the 80s was the German Shepherd, and then we go into the 90s, we have the Rottweiler, and then you have the Pit Bull. So it's the new bad dog.
Well, I give the pit bull credit because they've been running for about 25 years as the
Yeah, they
number
have
one,
been. No,
right?
they sure have
They
been.
just,
They
they
sure
just punish
have
it. But
been.
it's funny, I didn't know that about doodles. I had a very good friend of mine. He was a builder, real high-end builder.
Okay.
And he had a condo, a vacation condo up in the
Okay.
White Mountains in New Hampshire.
Okay.
And he was an incredible cyclist. I was a good cyclist. He was an incredible cyclist.
Wow.
So he said, "Are you going to be?" I had a cottage up there, and he said, "You're going to be up this week?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Bring your bicycle up, and we'll go riding together."
Sure.
So I go to his condo, which is big and beautiful and giant plush carpets. And I walk in the door, and he's got two doodles, one on either side, and big ones. And as soon as they heard my voice, they both peed on the floor. And he looks at me and goes,
Oh, my goodness.
"Thanks, Bob." I go, "How did I do that?" He goes, "It's your alpha. That's just how they are." And I'm
Wow.
like, "I'm really sorry." But they were as sweet as can be, so I'm surprised to hear that they have that.
They can be. It's any dog. It's any dog.
If they're treated like the sun and the moon.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
you. I
yeah.
got you.
And speaking of pit bulls, we'll just say one more thing about pit bulls. Pit bulls, think about it. A doodle does not know it's a doodle.
It's a
pit bull
wolf.
does not know it's
It's
a pit bull.
Hmm.
So when these dogs are born, they're not born going, I'm ready to take on the world and bite anything in my path. You know, it's just not what they do.
Oh, that's
That
I
helps.
had a pit bull, and I'll tell you what, that was the craziest loving dog you ever see.
Yes.
You would come home and he'd spin like 3 circles,
Yeah.
and he'd jump up and hit you in the chest, and you'd try to grab him, and you had to be ready for him, because I mean, he meant business.
he was there for
Yeah.
loving.
And then you'd have to run him. I'd run him with my dirt bike through the woods, and he'd just run and run, and he was just like that. But he just
That is
loved
awesome.
They're like little humans.
you. Yeah,
They are. They
They're-
really are. And they're so smart. I have worked with so many pit bulls that literally do. I mean, because I work with tons of families, that the pit bull takes on the child like, I will protect this child. This is my child, you know, and not in a I'm going to be aggressive to everything else, you know, in my path kind of a way. But they sleep with the babies. They watch the babies. I mean, they're wonderful. Over the years, I've gotten a few phone calls from women that the husband and the wife are now expecting their first child, and they have a pit bull. Nothing wrong with the pit bull. And the in-laws now go, you know about pit bulls, you have to get rid of the dog now. And I have women who are pregnant, 7, 8 months pregnant, calling me hysterical crying. My mother-in-law said I have to get rid of my dog. My mom and dad just told me I better get rid of my dog because it's going to eat the baby. And I go, no, it's not. No, it's not. Yeah.
No, I like your take on it, that we don't hear about the French poodle that bit the kid. We don't hear about the doodle or the
Yorkie,
Yorkie.
the Shih Tzu.
Yep.
Yeah, we never hear any of
Shih
that.
Tzus are big nose biters. They like to bite noses.
Jack Russell.
Oh God. Oh. One of the 3 bites I've sustained over the years was from a Jack Russell.
30 years and only 3 bites. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Now, do you find a difference between purebred dogs and rescue dogs? Are easier to train or harder to train, or are they both the same?
Same
Dogs are
thing.
dogs.
Same.
There's no difference in it.
Yeah, no difference. I mean, every breed classification. So what I mean is, if the dog is a working breed, a hound. I mean, it doesn't. If the dog is a mixed breed, like many people have mixed breed dogs.
Yeah, chop suey.
You know, yeah. Chop suey, exactly. They, you know what, they take on different temperaments based on what's in them, but no difference to train.
Okay.
I also work with a lot of senior dogs, seniors, and I mean 10-year-old, 11-year-old. About 3 years ago, I had a woman call me and tell me that if my dog pees on the floor one more time, he's 13 years old, I'm going to have it euthanized. And I went, how could you do that? I'm like, the dog's 13. You've had the dog since it's like 8, 9 weeks old. And she said, I just can't have it ruining my floors. I just can't.
What if it's a medical issue?
It did not matter to this particular person.
Didn't matter.
That's crazy.
So you're the Mother Teresa of dogs.
Okay.
I like
Okay,
that.
thank you.
That's
That's kind of
cool.
nice. That's kind of
Well,
nice.
we
Yeah.
could,
I like it.
I can hear your passion. And I had a friend of mine. He worked for me. I had a real estate company at the time, and I had one woman that worked there, and she had an Irish setter.
Okay.
Beautiful dog, great dog, except it was a jumper. Jumped on every single person
Yes.
over and over and
Yes,
over
it
again.
will.
So my buddy Neil, young guy, he said, "Your dog needs consistency in training, and it won't jump on you. It won't jump on anyone." And she said, "Well, can you do that?" And he goes, "Yeah." So he walks into the room and he goes like this, and he pats his chest, and the dog jumps up on him, and he just gently knees the dog, and the dog gets down.
Okay.
And the dog jumps up, he gently knees him, the dog gets down.
Okay.
So he probably did that for 10
Half an hour?
minutes.
Oh, okay.
And all of a sudden, the dog stopped jumping on everyone. So he said to the woman, he said, "Look, you just have to just gently knee him, and he'll know it's a no-go zone, and he'll
Okay.
do it." And a week later, she came into work with her Irish setter on her way to the beach, and the dog jumped all over me. I said, "You're not following Neil's direction, are you?" And she goes, "I can't do it. It's just mean." I said, "It's not mean. They need consistency."
That's
They need
correct.
it.
That is
They
correct.
need
Well, you know what? It's not a lot different than raising kids.
Children,
Yeah.
right?
absolutely.
It has to be consistent.
I will always use a child because dogs literally have the intelligence of 3 and 4-year-old human children. And it's great that I work with so many families because I use childlike analogies. When people tell me, "Oh, I'm going to get a cookie and then help the dog to get into the crate," I said, "Do you bake cookies for the kids before they go to bed at night?" And I go, "There's no, bedtime is bedtime. Bedtime is bedtime." You know, so I will always use, and they go, "Oh, that makes sense."
So you don't have to bribe them. You just have to be strong and consistent.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, consistency.
So tell us a story about one of your greatest successes.
Yes.
Like
My goodness.
a really hard dog maybe that you went in and were able to make a huge difference. Can you dig one of those up for me?
There are a
Princess.
lot. There are a lot.
I love that.
There are a lot. All right. About 4 years ago, okay, there was a dog that I went in to go see, somewhat local dog, and she did not let anybody in the house. I mean, she was fierce. And I honestly, I didn't even go near the dog for about a good 4 sessions because I can look at a dog and tell if the dog is aggressive. All I have to do is just look at the dog and tell if it has aggressive tendencies or if it's aggressive. And this particular dog, from having follow up with the owners, I know that she's great with people and loves people. But she was barreling out the front, ready to barrel out the front door, and she was a dangerous little girl. Yeah. And what?
How did it go? So you
How
went
did what
for
go?
you
how
went
did
for
you-
4 sessions. You
No, I
couldn't-
went for much more than 4 sessions.
No, but
I'm
the
saying
first
for the
4
first 4
sessions-
sessions, I had the owner keep the dog on a leash and keep the dog at a good 12-foot distance from me.
And then how did you gradually turn that around?
I watched the dog's eyes, and I watched her overall expression. As her expression got softer, I knew that it was safe.
So they just had to get used to you and accept
Yeah.
you.
Like I could literally look at a picture of a dog and tell you if that dog is aggressive. You could show me a dog and I could tell you what's going on with that dog. I can tell you if that dog is running the house just by looking at the picture.
No kidding.
No kidding.
Well,
Oh, here. All right. I'll tell you. I'll give you a little thing. Aggressive dogs with aggressive tendencies, do not normally smile unless you're doing something for them. They usually have a very tight look about their face. Their jaw is tight. Their lips are pursed, and they're looking intense. When I work with a dog that has any level of aggression, I'm looking to see the dog's eyes soften and to see the whites of the dog's eyes and to get a slack jaw.
okay.
I have a dog that I'm working with right now that's exactly like that. And she just started to do it. And the owner went, oh my God, I see it. And I said, see? And she said, oh, she's just fearful. The dog is about 80 pounds. She's an American Bulldog. American Bulldogs, by the way, if you don't know different breedings, they look like much larger pit bulls. Okay, so a pit bull, as powerful as it is, double that and in some instances. And this dog she just got that soft look, and I said, here we go. Now we're going to change the dog.
Bringing them around.
Bringing
Mother
them around.
Teresa, bringing them around.
Wow.
That's so kind. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We had when I was a kid in Connecticut, I had a neighbor up the street, and he was a police officer, and he had a retired German Shepherd.
Oh,
he was a canine.
Canine dog, sure.
And it was, always in the doghouse. It had a chain on it.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
For whatever reason, the dog hated me. Like, I can't tell you.
In all seriousness, did he hate you or hate everybody?
No, he hated me.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I probably smelled like pork chops. I was a little bit
something.
heavy. I don't know what the story was. But that dog would do everything it could to break itself free, and it would bite me on the ass. And my dad would tell the story, God rest his soul, he'd say, yep, and Bobby had come running down the street with this German Shepherd attached to his butt cheek.
Really?
They finally had to, and I felt, and I was probably only 5 or 6 years old, and they finally had to move the dog to the country, to somebody's farm, because, and all the kids hated me because the dog loved everything. I think it was because I was always afraid of dogs. So it must have been able to smell it on me.
Yes, dogs can. Okay, here's a cool thing. Dogs literally, have you ever heard it? Dogs smell fear. They literally do smell fear. They smell it in different ways. I'll tell you afterwards. Go ahead to finish your story.
No. That was my story. That was it. There was no happy ending for the dog
I'm sorry.
or me. I probably still have scars on my right butt cheek.
I have a scar when I was about 1.5 years, 2 years old. I would take a nap as a kid, and I walked down, and then we had 2 bird dogs, and I didn't know that we were taking care of another friend's dog that looked just like ours, so I went up to give it a hug. When I did, it just bit the side of my cheek and just dropped this whole cheek out like that.
Oh my gosh.
And then, it's not the dog's fault.
No.
It's like my dad, they said, we'll put him down. He goes, no, it's not his fault.
No.
He just didn't know,
Wow.
he wasn't used to kids.
Right.
And then he doesn't see it. You're in his space.
And
is
you
what my
may have
father
been
said.
close to the same size
Yeah,
dogs.
oh, yeah.
Many
Same
times
height.
see leadership
and
and
especially when you're
authority,
little.
eye
Yep.
level and
Yep.
butt level, literally.
Yeah,
Yeah. Wow.
yeah. So
Wait, so dogs can smell fear?
Yes.
How?
Pheromones. Dogs do
Pheromone.
everything based on pheromones. Your scent, or pheromones are your scent hormones. So it's a cool thing. It's like, I'll give you 2 different examples. Let's say you've got the dishwasher repair person coming into your house, okay? And you're just like, oh, there's Jimmy. He's going to, from ABC appliance repair. You're not thinking anything at that moment. You're just like, Jimmy's here to fix the dishwasher. The dog will smell if Jimmy is up to no good.
Really?
The dog will, if the dog is if the person's really there to steal your throw pillow or your microwave, let's say, the dog will smell that. Coincidentally, let's say you let this Jimmy the repair guy in your house and you're getting that weird, where's my wallet vibe? Let me put my wallet away vibe. The dog will pick that up as well and may change its behavior toward Jimmy the repair guy.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah, it's also when I did the work with the seizure alert dog. I actually handpicked this dog, and it's one of the things that I'm doing now for Chasing a Dream Foundation, where I have to see, because many times these people have 2 and 3 children, and it's going to be a family dog, but also a very serious service dog for one child in the family. I have to see if the dog's connection with the particular child is perfection, quite frankly. And the dog senses through pheromones when the seizure is about ready to happen. When the boy's pheromones change, that's when the dog goes and alerts the parents. So everything with the dog is based on pheromones. So yes, if we're afraid of a dog, the dog probably at that point couldn't tell the difference if you were afraid of the German Shepherd or if you were up to no good, because you, in your mind, you may have been having this internal dialogue saying, oh, Jesus Christ, I hope he doesn't bite me. Jesus Christ, I hope he doesn't get loose, which would have been normal, of course.
That's pretty much
totally
what I
normal.
used to pray when I would walk by
I am sure
the
you did.
dog.
Yeah. And the
That's
pheromones
crazy.
travel long distances. It's not like, you and I sitting here.
What about with other dogs? Do they pick it up off other dogs?
Oh, yes.
Well, because I can walk my dogs and they'll be fine for 3 or 4 weeks, and all of a sudden they're walking, another dog's coming, and
They'll lose it. Yeah, because it depends upon the dog.
Princess.
Well, here's the thing. Female dogs do not always like other female dogs. Dogs can also smell if the other female dog is an unspayed female, which will cause an immediate competition, or an unneutered male.
Wow.
Which is why generally a neutered male and an unneutered male, or 2 unneutered males, I should also say that, will not get along very well at all.
So it is a lot like humanity.
I'm not sure.
It is.
Right?
Okay.
We had all those young unneutered males in the bar, and we had to have a bar fight.
Yep.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's
Then I'm
what-
going to defer to your wisdom on this one for sure. Okay.
I got
Yeah.
this.
So when someone's having a seizure and the dog goes to alert the parents, let's say, what's the alert?
The alert is the dog will either start barking or the dog will start to nudge, like go over to the parent's hand
And just start pushing.
and start licking the parent's hand rapidly.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, we literally had to scent train the dog to be able to do this. And one of the ways you scent train a dog is we had many different scents. So excuse me a second. I'm sorry.
All good.
Very.
Water break.
Yeah, water break. Everybody, water break. Oh, you have something better than water. What do you have? No, I'm just kidding.
Celsius.
Okay.
Well, he's 19.
He's 19. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, what were we talking about? We're talking about so many different things.
Well, we
Scent
were,
training. Okay,
Scent.
sorry about that.
With the-
So anyway, we use scent boxes, or I use scent boxes, and the scent boxes can smell like many different things. A lot of times I'll use clove, I'll use garlic, and then I will use the pheromone of the child. And the way I get the pheromones is we either use we have the child's hand swipe, and we also use the saliva. And what we're looking to do is we're looking for the dog to ignore the clove, the garlic, the cinnamon, and every other scent that we use, and sit by the child's pheromones. It's a
Do
bit
you have
of
to
a
make
process.
the child happy first, so it's like happy pheromones, or?
Huh?
Well, you said that the pheromones change based on them having a
Absolutely.
seizure. So
Well,
if the dog's smelling certain pheromones, do you have to like make the child scared first and be like, "Here you go"?
No. This is actually a little bit different than that. In that instance, during an actual seizure, the parents take samples of the child's saliva.
oh. So they
Yeah.
can smell the difference.
Absolutely.
Gee,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
I'm doing one right now with a child who has low oxygen and he's a local boy in Hobe Sound. And I'm training up his service dog for him, where the dog is going to start to detect when the child's oxygen is dropping. So we have different scents right now going on, for the dog, and we just started with him too. I started all the training about a month and a half ago, but now we're getting into the scent training a little bit, just to see if the dog has the aptitude, if he has the ability, and he's starting to show it. he started to show
That's
it.
really incredible.
Yeah, and a lot of that comes from the connection with the dog. You know, the way I picked out the seizure alert dog from a local rescue was the dog was around the whole family, and when the child, as many children do, they get frustrated. Giovanni's, that's one of the little boys. His seizures are heat activated. We live in South Florida. Okay, there's a lot of heat here.
yeah.
He always wears a cooling vest. And as many children get frustrated when they're tired so he had this iPad in his hand, as all little kids do, I think, these days. And he started to cry and he threw his iPad down. And this 6-month-old German Shepherd that was at the rescue leaned into him and just started licking his face. And I went, oh my God, this might be our dog. Because we had seen several dogs prior to this. And the dog would not leave his side until he calmed down. But the dog just stayed next to him. And I looked at both the parents and said, that's our dog.
Yep.
That's our dog.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
our dog. And we just did something with Chasing a Dream Foundation. Furry Friends donated a dog. And we got to pick out the dog, and I told the parents, I said, go and see different dogs that you like, and then I will come and I will see if this is the right dog for your family. And this particular dog, his name is Leo, and that's the one I'm training right now for low oxygen. I went to meet Leo just to do temperament testing with him to see if this dog was going to be good under different circumstances. And they have 3 young children here, and the dog was wonderful. And then the family had already seen him 2 days prior. They came back, and let me tell you, I was hanging out with Leo in one of these outdoor pens, petting him and just going, good boy, good boy. It was a little hot outside. It was 2 months ago, and he's a black dog. He's almost all Rottweiler. And not a full Rottweiler size, but definitely you can see the Rottie in him. Anyway, I was petting him and hanging out with him. The family starts coming down this alleyway, this outdoor alleyway, toward the fencing where I was. This dog left me and ran and started wagging his tail as if he knew he was going home that day. Wow. And I went, that's our dog. And then we brought him inside to an indoor area with the director of Furry Friends. And this dog just wouldn't, they have 3 kids, 3 very active children of different ages. This dog would not leave the child. Loved all the kids, could tell he wanted to play with all the children, but kept going right back to the child again. I said, this is our dog. This is our dog. So now we're in that process as well.
That's
Amazing.
powerful.
Yeah. Pheromones, very powerful stuff.
Now, I read, and you can correct me if I'm wrong because normally I am.
So am I, so we're getting bad.
There are dogs that can detect cancer.
Yes, pheromones.
Yeah.
Pheromones. Absolutely.
That's just, it's remarkable. It really
Yeah,
is.
if somebody has diabetes, the dog can detect the insulin and the low blood sugar as well. It's the same, I believe, I may have to be corrected on this. It's the same process that you use to make a drug sniffing dog.
Okay.
You have to have all different types of scents out there, but the dog has to find the meth, the dog has to find the cocaine, the dog has to find the marijuana or whatever else is out there. Yeah.
But they're not always right.
They're not, and that's why the majority of dogs fail. You know, they're not suited for that type of work. They may be suited for a different type of work, but they're not suited for that type of work. Like people always ask me about German Shepherds. They're like, could he be a canine dog? And I go, most German Shepherds are not suited to be canine dogs. These are very, very special dogs who shouldn't ever sleep. So, yeah.
I was coming back 2 years ago with my granddaughter from Arizona. We were moving all of her stuff up with us, and we got stopped, I think, at the Texas border, and they had the drug sniffing dogs. Well, I'm not worried.
Right.
So we get out, and they have the dog, and the dog alerts on I had rented a 4Runner. So they pull us over,
Oh my gosh.
We're sitting on the side of the road. Everybody's driving by looking at us like, here's this guy with this kid.
They're waiting for
like
handcuffs to
this,
come
yeah,
out.
It's
Yeah.
like this drug, look at this guy with his kid. He's a drug dealer. And they rip the car apart. Absolutely take everything out because the dog keeps alerting,
Wow.
and they go through all of our stuff, which was just,
Stuff.
a 16-year-old, 17-year-old's stuff from her house. And they get all the way down, and the dog is alerting on the SUV that I rented. And they come over and go, yeah, your rental vehicle was obviously used in a drug run. And they didn't, nothing was in there because they had used it and moved everything out.
It still just had the sense.
And they're like, we're really sorry. I said, hey, I just sat here and had a soda. I'm fine.
Really?
It is. Yeah. I don't get, I've been through real trauma. I don't get rattled that easily.
No,
So.
absolutely.
And,
Yeah,
and I knew
absolutely.
there was nothing in there. And I even said to Bean, I was like, Bean, you don't have like any marijuana or anything in there because I'm probably going to go to jail. She's like, Pa. So
Oh,
no, it was
that's wild.
But they and that's what once they had everything out and the dog kept going back to the vehicle and they said obviously this was used for something big. And
Son of a
I said,
gun.
aren't I lucky?
Yeah, really.
Hour and a half of my life I'm not getting back.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Well, at least you didn't end up in jail.
And which is always a good
Always
thing.
always a
Any
bonus,
night that
always a
ends
bonus.
that I don't end up in jail is a good night.
There you
night.
go. I'm sure your wife appreciates that. And your family as well.
Another story, Renewal Coalition in Jupiter. They work with vets and everything else. And we had one, his shirt is hanging up down there. It's Doug. He did 17 deployments for us. And we want to get him a service dog. He didn't want a service dog. We finally got him a service dog. And he came back 5 months later and he says, I used to want to take my life 2 to 3 times a day.
Cheapers.
Sometimes 5. He said, for 5 months, I haven't wanted to take it once.
Wow.
And that's what the difference, the dog. But the dog's name was Delta, and the dog, he'd say, free or whatever, like, and
Yep.
and so the dog would just walk like a 10-foot corridor around him instead of being beside.
That's fabulous.
And then that dog, so then he got so protective of him, and then the wife and the 2 boys, and just like, and so what it did is it saved him, but it saved the family because it made them all one too. So,
wow.
Yeah, it was cool. I talked to him a couple years ago. If you hear him speak about his life in the military, I have a hard time going after him when I'm trying to raise money for, the Navy SEAL Museum or other
That's
things.
fabulous.
Because he just brings the house down of what he's been able to do. But you don't think that he's wanted to take his life that many times. You just go, and
Oh
this
my
dog
gosh.
saves him.
That's amazing.
Well, that sounds like somebody we need to have on the podcast.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll get Doug.
Right.
There
We'll
is
get Doug.
actually, there's
Yeah.
a Service Dog Foundation. I'll get you the name of it. It's run by Anthony Longo out of Jupiter for veterans, and they just train up service dogs for veterans. Yeah, in different capacities. That's amazing.
It's fantastic that we're saving lives because of dogs.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I don't think we give dogs enough credit.
No, I mean,
We
just
just
what
don't
you
give
shared
dogs-
today.
we just don't give them enough credit for what they do.
Tore the label off. I'm like, holy moly.
And pit bulls are good dogs.
And pit bulls are good dogs.
Okay, there you go.
When I got out of the military, I ran into a buddy of mine
Okay.
when we went to school together, and he was like, "Oh, come on over to my house." I was in a coffee shop. He said, "Come on over to my house. I want to show you my house. I want you to meet my wife. I got a wife and kids," which was because we were pretty wild. And I went to his house, and he had these. This is the first time I ever saw a pit bull. He had these weird-looking dogs in the backyard, and they had these giant
Heads.
heads.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because I have that nervousness with
Oh, my
dogs.
gosh.
So I got my arms up and I'm like, what are these? And he goes, oh, they're what's the real term? Not pit bull.
Well,
I didn't know there was.
American Staff. Wait,
American.
those are different breeds. Amstaffs.
Okay, so he had
Amstaffs are American
pit bulls.
Staff. They look like pit bulls. They're very similar. However, they're not the same.
So I said, what's up with the size of their head? He goes, let me show you. And he had a rope, big heavy rope tied around the tree, and he undid it, and he dropped this big knot at the end of the rope, dropped it down, and this female, the mom of all these pups, went over and hit that thing full speed, and he hoisted the dog up in the air. And I'm like, okay, that's enough. Let the dog down. He goes, she would hang on to that rope for 50 minutes if I left her there. He said they can lock their jaw. So he had.
Oh yeah, they do. They lock their
Yeah.
jaw. That's the thing about pit bulls that made them newsworthy is the jaw locking feature on a pit bull.
So he reached into his pocket and he took out a splint. I don't know what.
Right.
But he said, I have to keep this with me all the time because if she locks onto another dog in a fight, she will not let go. And I have to put this between her jaw to make her mouth open. And I was like, okay, I'm leaving now. I've seen seen enough.
I've seen enough. Yeah. Are you still? And in all seriousness, are you still afraid of dogs? Do you still have any type of fear?
It's funny. I think, living my life and going through some stuff, it took that away. And now I'm like the guy that we have. I have a neighbor. They have a black lab. Her name is Sam. Beautiful dog. And when she sees my truck, she sprints up and I get out and she rolls over and shows me her belly and her paws. And my friend who owns it, he gets mad. He goes, she doesn't act like that with anybody else.
Wow.
So, and
That's great.
No, it's crazy. I'm in a grocery store and little kids will turn around and put their arms up when I'm standing in line and the parents freak out. I'm like, I'm really sorry. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know why, but so I
It's your pheromones. No, I'm just kidding.
No, my wife tells me that all the time. She says you got these pheromones that people just know that.
That's so wonderful.
Yeah, it's so cool. So yeah, I really turned the corner, and I actually love dogs. I've never owned a dog, but I absolutely love them, and we're
so
to a point
cool.
where they love me too. So.
And the reason I actually asked you is because I'll invite you over so that you could meet my 3 Dobermans.
Oh, Dobermans make me a little nervous. So I'm not going to lie.
See, that's why.
I'm not going to lie. Well, I had a friend of mine. Actually, he wasn't a friend. I'm lucky he didn't kill me. I dated his sister.
My 3 doodles? Would you come meet my 3 doodles?
I would meet the doodles, but see,
I don't have doodles.
But he was not a good dog owner, and he was very abusive to his Doberman. And he came home drunk one night, and the Doberman turned the tables on him.
Good.
And I thought the same thing, but it just always made me. Dobermans, they're scary looking dudes.
They're
nuts.
You have to meet my dogs.
All right. Well, just let them know I'm kind of a big coward. So you gotta say he looks dangerous, but he's really not.
My dogs love children. They love babies. They've met people who are disabled, senior citizens. I mean, everything
I'm
in
sure.
between.
With what you've shared with us today, I'm sure that your dogs are something special. You have a very special gift. You do, and it's fortunate that you realized it. And you took a chance.
I don't know that I realized it. I just.
No, you
idealistically,
did. You left American Express. You realized it.
I didn't think I had a future at American Express because I didn't go to college, and I didn't go to college.
Just for the record, college is overrated.
I know.
Yes, very.
People go.
Well, we're talking about back in the 80s, So back in the 80s, it was a different mentality. I mean, now. Guys like Seth will go out and do what he does. I'm sure he didn't spend 4 years in school learning how to do it.
I'm in college right now.
I know that you're in college, but I'm just saying the gifts that you have.
Yeah.
I mean, the logo that you designed for this podcast, as I mentioned, it's killer. It's fabulous.
Thank you.
Nobody in college taught you that.
No,
Right?
it's true.
Right.
I was 12 credits short of a high school diploma. My principal called me in my senior year, and he said, "Mr. Thornton, you've done a great job the last 5 months. But the teachers aren't sure that you'll make it through the summer, so we're going to give you your diploma. You can march with the class. Just don't come back." And that's how I went out into the world.
Wow.
And it hasn't hurt me,
Exactly. I'll tell you my story in high school. I can add, I can subtract, I can do all of that, but calculus and all that, it's just not my thing. Oh. And in junior year of high school, I was in bookkeeping 1, which I failed miserably out of, but for whatever reason, the teacher liked me and gave me a 66. He then put me into bookkeeping 2. And I went to see him and I said, I have to graduate. I said, you got to get me out of this class. And I said, you've got to get me out of this class. My mom was mortified because she, in fact, was a bookkeeper.
Oh my God, that's
True
awesome.
story. True story. True story. You know, I was just like, this is not going to pan out well for me.
No, I was not meant to be a student.
No.
I was meant to.
I was meant to do things.
Me too.
Exactly.
Me too.
I was meant
And
to do things.
I've had this crazy life. My dad walked into a machine shop when he was 17 or 18 years old during World War II, and he never walked out. He was a tool and die maker his entire life, incredibly gifted, worked full-time until he was 93 years old.
God bless. I love that.
My little brother, which my granddaughter loves that I call him my little brother because he's always my little brother. He walked into a print shop in 5th grade. They had a class trip, and he never walked out. He runs a 6-color litho. He's one of the best printers in the country.
Wow.
But they always felt bad for me. It was always like, oh, poor Bobby. He can't decide what he wants to do because I've had 7 companies.
Okay.
And I go into something and I learn it and I master it and then I get bored and I want to do something
And then do
different.
something else. Absolutely.
And they actually confronted me one time and they said, are you ever going to settle down? And I said, I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up.
That's
wonderful.
wonderful.
I get to do a lot of speaking, and I speak with a lot of young people, and I tell them, I say, you know, you guys put so much weight on your decision and like you're going to be stuck with this your whole life. I said, I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up.
That's great.
That is
my
great. business partner
that.
and I, we started sorry, Rachel, we started a software company and we rolled it out in January, and the thing has taken on a life of its own.
That's fabulous.
And it's just like, life is such a great ride.
It really is. It really is.
If you realize that it's
Yeah.
a great ride, and that's what you look for,
That's-
you know.
that's so
and so
wonderful.
I'm super happy for you that you're doing what you're doing. Your passion absolutely comes through. And tell us again how to get a hold of you.
My website is alphadogtrainingfl.com. On Instagram, it's alphadog_Carrie. And on Facebook, just Alpha Dog Training.
That's awesome. And we appreciate you being a guest.
I'm so grateful to be
And
here.
you're
Thank you
al-
so much, guys, for asking me.
Oh, and
Thank
you're
you,
always
Harry.
welcome back. And this kid is going to take this and make it look great. And we get to watch it and go, nice job, Seth.
Could I get a copy of it?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah. And we want you to promote it. And if you're out there and you're listening, we want to hear your story. Everyone has a story.
Everybody has
and
a story.
there's someone out there that needs to hear your story. And it makes such a difference. And I was along for the ride today. I learned so much from you.
Oh
And
my gosh, thank you.
greatly
Thank
appreciate
you.
you.
Thank you,
And
thank you.
you are truly the Mother Teresa of dogs.
Oh, my God. That's
And
really
remember,
kind.
dog spelled backwards
God.
is God. And,
Always.
And you know what? We just, God gave us these animals just to make us happy, that something that would be so happy when we come home, and you can never have a bad day with a dog.
No, you
that's
can never
nice,
have a
sir.
bad day
And
with a
that's,
dog.
I think the good Lord did that just to make us feel good and brighten our day. And it
Absolutely.
definitely has for me. I've only had dogs from shelters. I've never had a dog. We used to go up here to Stewart, and my dad would never pay for a dog because in Humane Society, I'm saving this dog. I'm not. We'd go up on Sunday and we'd walk around the pens and we'd find the dog we like. We'd dig underneath and we'd take the dog out and then we'd fill the dirt back in.
Oh, my gosh. Really?
Yeah, we'd take the dog home.
You
know
were
what?
truly rescuing them.
Oh,
we,
my
we
God.
rescued the dog. You know what? And that's all the dogs we ever had. And that's
That's fabulous.
Don't worry, we'll make a donation to you guys.
Yeah, I've raised money for him.
Yeah.
Did you ever
do
tell them
everything
that
so-
you used to steal the dogs?
Yeah, well, you know what this is?
I stole a dog.
60 years ago. You know?
I kidnapped a dog.
I bet it's a great story.
I'll tell it really
Tell it.
quickly. It was a Sunday morning. I get a phone call from a woman. I didn't know who she was, and she said, "Is this the person who trains dogs?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Listen, my name is so and so. I know I've seen pictures with you, and you have Dobermans, and there's my next door neighbor. Bad people. They've got a 5-month-old Doberman there. This is back in New Jersey, so it's getting cold in October and November. They said they never let this 5-month-old puppy in the house. It's sleeping outside. It's crying all night, et cetera, et cetera. Now she's trying to sell this dog to send money to her husband in jail. So we have like a whole nice situation there. So I went there." And I talked to the woman. She said, "Yeah, you give me $300 because I got to send some money over there to my old man in jail." And I went, I said, why don't you give me the dog and I won't call animal control? That's what I said. I just did, just being me. And so she said, no, I got a guy coming right after you. And I said, with my heart in my hands, I left there just thinking about this dog. 2 weeks later, I get the phone call again. Hey, that dog is still in the backyard. I said, okay. I went there on another Sunday morning, picked the dog up, threw her in the back of my truck. We went home.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So I was in.
Please don't have me arrested. This like
No.
30 years ago. I just wanted to.
I had twin brothers. I went to a kickboxing place for a lot of years, and they were
cool.
both instructors, and Ricky and Robbie. And Robbie used to come to kickboxing Saturday mornings, and he would talk about his backyard faced another backyard.
Okay.
And he's like, they have this dog, and it's just chained out there. Rain, snow, sleet, no doghouse, no food. So he started sneaking out at night and feeding the dog and giving him water and developed this relationship with the dog. And finally, it was snowing. The dog was freezing. He was like, I don't care. He went over and he unhooked the dog. He brought him home. And that dog was so loyal to him. You could not get close to him. The dog was so protective of him. But it was such a great relationship. And I was like, he's like, I know I stole the dog. I said, you didn't steal the dog. You freed the dog.
That's right. You saved that dog.
And the dog knew it.
Dog. Really quickly, just to jump back, you were talking about dogs that are in shelters that have been neglected and abused. The story that you just told, many of the dogs that have been neglected and abused, when you bring those dogs home, they are just so darn happy for the love, a nice bed, some food, and the companionship. So that's why I was saying earlier, just because they've been neglected and abused does not qualify them as being aggressive dogs. Many of them wouldn't even know how to bite.
Oh.
Yeah. It's been such a pleasure, gentlemen. Thank you. I'm so honored. This is so
sat
cool.
around the campfire, didn't we?
We did. We sure did.
It's great. It's a great group. And
thank you so
Thank
much.
you. This is so cool. This is just the coolest thing ever. Thank you.
Hello, we're recorded from Harry and the Natives restaurant in Hope Sound, Florida. It's a family restaurant. My family's run it 73 years. It's an 85-year-old restaurant, and just come and see us sometimes. Thank you. This is Bob.
And we're upstairs in the Tiki Hut, so you can come in, and we'd love to have you come up and tell your story. I'm with O'Donnell Impact Windows and Storm Protection, and we do, I know it sounds confusing, but we do impact windows and storm protection. And our slogan is, and please remember at O'Donnell, it's our family protecting your family. So I promise you, if you use us, we'll never embarrass you. If you refer us, we'll never embarrass you. We get the job done right. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.